Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, welcome back to the channel. And I have another movie review today for you guys. This is a film that I really wanted to see this year, but we're going to talk about it first for a few minutes. And yes, we are talking about Playmobil or Playmobil, however you say that, the movie. Now, a few things before I get into the review. One, the marketing for this movie is terrible. It's non-existent, kind of like a certain Lego game coming out next year, Star Wars. But anyway, it very much is really, really poor marketing. I mean, it went in theaters, I think, August 30th, and then it went out of theaters, and now, as of today, or I think yesterday, whenever, it is back in theaters, so it's really, really weird. I really don't understand what's going on. The trailers for this movie make the film look like a kid's film, not all ages, very much a kid's film, that it's very, very poorly made, it's really dumb and kiddie and just horrible. And thankfully the movie is not horrible and it's not little kiddie. However, another thing is that I will say that me and my mom were the only people in the theater. I wanted to go see it with one of my buddies, but didn't work out. And we were like, we're the only people in here. Of course, I'm not going to go to the theater by myself, but I'm like, why, you know what I mean? Because we were talking about it, and my mom was like, oh, I really want to see it because it might be like a Lego movie. And I'm like, yeah, who knows? Probably not. And then, of course, the other thing that we're going to talk about is, of course, that it is Playmobil. And Playmobil, in my opinion, the toy is only for little children. I think Playmobil is kind of like Duplo, in a sense that it's only for little kids. Lego is for older kids, or, 6-year-olds, whatever, until you're dead. Lego very much is for all ages, and that is a fact. But all of these things go into this effect, and you really look at it, and you're like, okay, the marketing for this movie's trash. It looks kiddie. We're the only people in the frickin' theater. It's gonna suck, and it didn't suck, and I was really happy. I do have a lot of issues with this film, but I'm gonna say Playmobil. I'm just gonna say it like that. Playmobil is the sleeper hit animated film, I think, of 2019. And I don't like to look at reviews, but this movie got, I believe, an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is god-awful. And, it's making, I think, $600,000, so it is I think it's one of the worst box office openings of this year. So yeah, it's making no money and everyone hates it. So it's definitely a failure. However, everyone hated Hellboy 2019. I love Hellboy. It's a great movie. So the moral of the story right here, really fast, is don't trust other people's opinions. You can see other people's reviews and go, okay, I agree or I disagree, but do not, please, be a robot and see, she didn't like it, he didn't like it, I'm not seeing it, it's gonna suck. That's what I thought. I like this movie. I don't love this movie, but I like this movie. So, what I want to get out of the way first of all, again, is how, of course, the big reason why everyone didn't want to see this film is because you look at it and you go, besides the marketing's trash, and you go, oh, it's Playmobil the movie. That's a toy, right? Lego is a toy, and Lego had 4 movies, and those 4 movies, in my opinion, are some of the best in animation ever made. And, of course, me, personally, I'm like, okay, I'm a critic now on YouTube. I have to kind of look at this from a different point of view. And honestly, I walked into it going, this is going to be a carbon copy ripoff of the first Lego movie, and it was. That is one of the biggest negatives about this movie, is that because this movie came after the Lego movies, everyone in the world and their grandma is going to go, oh, that's a ripoff of the Lego movie, because Lego movie 1 and Batman movie, Ninjago, and Lego movie 2 didn't do too well, but I love all 4 the same. Ninjago might be my favorite, but all these people are kind of like, oh, it's just a ripoff of that, because, of course, Lego movie came first, and it was so successful. And to tell you the truth, it is a ripoff. There are certain beats, really, this is the biggest negative of the film, it's not original in the slightest. There's only 2 originalities in the film, that being its Playmobil and the plot. That's it. They go to the Old West, like the Lego movie. They mention a few weird things, like in the Lego Ninjago movie with the live-action thing and, all this kind of stuff. They mention, what's his name? Rex Dasher, who's played by Daniel Radcliffe, who's Harry Potter. Really? Lego Movie 2 had Rex Dangervest, and Playmobil has Rex Dasher. Are you freaking kidding me? This is totally terrible. There are so many things, of course. Like the Legos, Lego itself, it has a lot of brands, Ghostbusters, DC, Marvel, Ninjago, whatever, Lego City, Star Wars. This movie has a few things. I did hear and see the Ecto-1 in there, which is pretty cool. So I get what they're doing. They're gonna, it is very much like Lego. So you're gonna, okay, this is, they're gonna have a bunch of different references and they're going different places. And really, that's what I'm saying. It is like the Lego movie. They literally take beats from Lego Movie 1, Lego Movie 2, and Lego Ninjago movie. And they hope it sticks, and it does stick. That is the thing I want to tell you, though. While this movie is 120% a ripoff of the Lego movies, it is a good ripoff. It's not poorly made. In fact, it's really well made. There are a few negatives, but again, the biggest negative I'm going to touch on at the very beginning of this review is that it is very much a ripoff of the Lego movie. So if you thought that was the case, it is the case, 120%. But again, it's not too bad. But like I said, there are a few scenes where, like, okay, that's a joke from the Lego movie. That's a joke from the Lego Ninjago movie. That's a joke from the Lego movie, too. Is there anything unique in this frickin' movie? And yes, like I said, besides that it's Playmobil, and besides the plot, which I'm getting into now, it is a very good plot. That's about it, really. So the plot has, of course, slight spoilers, but again, I was the only person in my theater, so I don't think anyone cares about spoilers. If you do, sorry, but I have to kind of talk about it. So it opens up with a cute girl, which I've seen in another movie, Anya Taylor-Joy or something like that, and her little brother. Basically, her name is Marla, and her brother's name is Charles or Charlie. And in the beginning of the movie opens up, and this is what it's, because I literally started laughing my butt off, because the very first scene in this movie is Marla live action. It starts off like the Lego movies, live action, and she's singing. It's like a freaking, this movie is a musical. Like the Lego movie too. Huh, who would have freaking thought, right? So it starts off with her singing and jumping, and she's singing about going on this adventure, right? And to be honest, I don't really like musicals, right? I like Disney, Lego Movie 2 is an exception. It has pretty good songs too. I'd say, I don't know how many, there were probably like 5 songs, but I'd really say that 3 out of the 5 songs worked. A few of them were really short, a few of them were kind of bad and poorly written, but for the most part they were okay. And it gets coming from a guy who doesn't like musicals. From a dude who doesn't like them. But with that being said, she's singing about going on this adventure, and she's all happy, and it's literally, because I laugh, I'm like, this is a musical? I had no idea, because the trailer had no freaking implication of that at all. Nothing of the sort. And of course, right after that, the tone shifts completely. Right after she's done singing, it goes to, maybe she's singing at like 3 in the afternoon or something. It goes to like maybe 8 or 9 at night. It's dark, and she sees sirens outside her door. And her and Charles, her brother, go outside, and it's 2 policemen. And they say, hey, there was a car crash, your parents are dead. Not that, they didn't like say it like that, but that's the gist of the scene. And that's another negative, I'm going to say. This is a negative and a positive, because from a storytelling perspective, it is a positive, because once they know that, Marla and Charlie know that their parents are dead, they got killed in the car crash, very, very effing sad, and kind of a weird turn for a toy made for kids. It very much is, like I said, a very strange turn, because the movie starts off with her singing and it's all happy, and then boom, tone shifts, parents dead, they're Batman now, and it's really, really weird. And of course, the good thing is that it fuels the plot, to see Charlie and Marla kind of go on this adventure, and the whole Playmobil thing kicks in. But it's a negative because this movie doesn't really know what it wants to be. The movie starts out like a musical, and then it starts out like a drama, a family drama about a dysfunctional family, and then it goes to a comedy with the toys, and then back to drama. So it really, the themes and the plots are really all over the place, and that is a negative. However, a positive, like I said, is that because their parents are killed, it fuels the story, and it fuels Marla and Charlie, the 2 title characters, so that they can go on this adventure, and it really means something. And, it is good story fuel, but at the same time, as a tonal, it's tonally off, you know what I mean? And that is a slight negative. And then, of course, they go, really, another thing to mention is the live-action scenes. You know how the Lego movie had a live-action scene in the end? Lego Batman movie had nothing. Lego Ninjago movie had a beginning and an end, which the little kid was a very bad actor, but Jackie Chan was in it, so that was cool, kind of even it out there. And, of course, Lego Movie 2 had a bigger... Lego Movie 2 had the most live-action in any of the Lego movies. This movie, and I know it's not a Lego movie, but for being a toy movie, which is a carbon copy of the Lego films, it has a lot of live action, and to be honest, it's acted perfectly. All the actors in this scene, or in these live action scenes, are perfect. They're really, really good. Even the little kid, they're all good actors, and it shocked me. And of course, the live action scenes are really well shot too. There's not one bad scene in this film, where when the animation kicks in with the Playmobil, the animation part of it, the reason why we saw this freaking movie, it looks great. But the problem is with the live action, it goes on for too long. And that is a negative. I get it, you have a story to tell, but we came here to see the Playmobil movie, and you're giving us a live-action family drama. That's like going to see, I don't know, The Last Jedi or Avengers Endgame and getting like Powerpuff Girls and the Flintstones for 3 hours before the movie. It's like, we didn't pay for this, you know what I mean? But, however, it is well shot, well directed, and very well acted, and well written. But going forward, like I said, it is kind of weird, because I'm looking at my invisible watch here, going, when's the freaking toy come in? Come on, you know what I mean? But again, they have to do this for the story. It does work, however, it's very strange. Like I said, the tonal shift and the live action, it's good, but it's also bad. And then, of course, they get sucked into the Playmobil world, and that's when stuff hits the fan, and Marla, you know, is, of course, just herself, and you get this other thing with Charles, who is a knight. He always wanted to be, or not a Viking, and he always wanted to be this Viking, this strong Viking guy. He turns into a Viking, and there's a funny joke because he looks really tough and masculine, and he has, like, you know, an 8-year-old kid voice, and it is funny. But going on from that, really, I mean, from that, there's a huge adventure where they meet this guy called Del, and Del's Bells or whatever, where he has, like, a food truck type thing, so it is really cool. Del is my least favorite character in the movie. I don't think some of his humor lands, but his voice is just annoying to me. He was kind of annoying at the film. He was just kind of there to be there. However, in the end, he has a reason, of course, duh. But, you know, Del is not really a negative. It's just my least favorite character. However, going forward, once you know, get into this Playmobil world, really it's a quest for Marla to find her brother Charlie, because basically Charlie gets kidnapped. Remember, he's the Playmobil Viking. He gets kidnapped, and the whole movie is essentially Marla, you know, the main title character, finding Charles. That's the whole plot. She needs to find her brother. And through that, she meets other Playmobil licensed characters, of course, Del, Rex Dasher, who's played by Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, like I said. And really, it's a basic plot, but it has enough layers to it where you're going to be entertained. You know how the Lego Movie 2, the second part, had the plot of that movie tackled how a boy plays with Lego and how a girl plays and how that can mix and sometimes not mix. They do that in this movie too, but they do it really well. Lego Movie 2, the whole plot was about that. This movie is not about that, and they did that. They have like really cool action scenes with Rex, and you know, all these characters. They have like espionage things and explosions and helicopter fights and dinosaurs and coliseums. And then they go to a scene where you know, Marla meets this fairy godmother, and there's a whole kind of like Cloud Cuckoo Land from the Lego Movie. So again, another ripoff, but it is what it is. You know, she kind of gets, there's another song there, and she finds out all this stuff. So it very is a movie for boys and girls to enjoy. But is this movie for kids only? I will say that the Playmobil toy line is only for kids. This movie is for all ages. I will say that. It's very not for little kids. I mean, there's no swearing, but they do say what the heck. They say sucks, son of a. You know, they do all this stuff. You know, there's kicking people in the nuts. I mean, there's punching and there's fire. I mean, it's very much not like a really kiddie movie. It is for all ages. So if you're an adult or a teenager, you can see this movie. I think for me, I would give it the all ages approval. I guess I'm 21 and I had a good time with it. So if that's to tell you anything, of course the Lego movies are for all ages because Lego is for every age group. Playmobil, in my opinion, is not, but this movie is. Going forward, really that's basically it. I mean, the plot is very simple. She got to find her little brother. With this dysfunctional family going on, of course, really Marla becomes this mom figure for Charlie because she does the shopping and she does everything else. And of course it ends happily and all that. But it really is cool to see that, yes, it's a ripoff of the Lego Movie in every single way. You know, they got the toys, they got the humor, they got the plot, they got the live action stuff. They go to the Old West, there's jokes, there's a Rex character. I mean, there's so much to copy off of from the Lego movies. I mean, they had the ultimate template and they literally copied it. But they copied it in a good way where, yes, it's a very, very much a ripoff, but it's a well-made ripoff. That's what I can say. It's not like The Asylum or any of that crap where it's just like, you know, a really shitty copy of Iron Man. It's really well-made, and the animation kicks in, like, you know, really fast. When Marla and Charlie go to this, you know, this Playmobil world, you're like, wow, it's not stop motion, it's not as good as the Lego movies. However, it does look really good. I mean, there are scratches on things, which is, again, copy of the Lego movie, but I see what they're trying to do, and for the most part, it works. As far as, like I said, the rest of the positives, the animation, the script is great, the comedy's great. It's not as funny as any of the Lego movies, so I didn't really laugh that much. It was really, you know, there was maybe 4 or 5 scenes where I actually laughed, but it's not as funny as the Lego movies. But it is funny in times. Of course, you know, you have the action scenes, which are really cool. The villain, I didn't care about the villain at all. And, of course, you could retaliate by saying, oh, well, franchise fanatic, it's a Playmobil movie. Of course, he's not going to be, you know, Snoke or Kylo Ren or Thanos or Darkseid. And then I'm going to retaliate with you and say, well, Lego Movie with Lord Business was a really great character with a lot of depth. Joker, Lego Batman movie, really good. Lord Garmadon, Lego Ninjago movie, really great character. And of course, Rex Dangervest from the Lego Movie 2 was amazing as well with a great twist. This guy's just evil to be evil. He's basically like a walking snowflake. He gets offended by everything. He screams like a girl. He just gets beat up all the time. He's not a good villain. He's not opposing at all. He's not intimidating in the slightest. And of course, he gets beat up at every turn. He's kind of like General Hux. It's basically just in toy form. And like I said, that is another negative. I really did not like this villain. But if I'm going to round out the negatives, I would say that I'm going to lower it at least 2 because of how generic it is. It really, really is a copy of the Lego films. Some of the humor doesn't land. Some of the editing is a bit weird. Sometimes scenes abruptly end when they really should have continued, I think, for a few seconds, to elevate the scene. The villain's god-awful, and of course, I really would say that maybe the live-action things last a little bit too long, even though it is for that. And of course, we also have to take into effect the tonal shift that it goes from happy to sad really fast, and it really doesn't know what it wants to do. However, you're probably thinking this, I hate this movie for all the negatives, and I listed like 6 of them right there. But I will honestly say that the positives do outweigh the negatives. It's really fun. It's funny at times. Great animation, great voice acting, great writing for the most part, great comedy for the most part, and of course a really good plot that I think all ages can get behind. So I am going to say that Playmobil, whatever, the movie is the sleeper hit animated film of 2019. I walked into this film expecting to hate the guts of it, and I didn't love it because it is so generic and there are some issues with it, but it is a fun movie, and I probably will buy it on Blu-ray and unbox it for you guys and give someone the digital code because it really is a good, a well-made film. So I'm going to give Playmobil the movie a B-. You're probably thinking that's a really bad score, but basically, like I said, I would do it F, never watch it, D, pretty much trash, C, B, good, A, amazing. So I will say the Playmobil the movie is good. Again, B-. Please tell me what you thought about this film in the comments. Again, this movie was always doomed to fail from the start because it is a ripoff of the Lego movies, and the marketing is just, it's non-existent, like I said. It's really bad. But anyway, I actually enjoyed this movie. Like I said, this is one of my, like I said, a sleeper hit film of 2019. I really enjoyed it. It's not going to be like, one of the best films of 2019, but for sure, it really is a good movie. And of course, I will be buying it on Blu-ray for you guys. Again, I enjoyed it, so please tell me what you thought about Playmobil the movie in the comments. Again, B-. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.